Hello, Corey Brophy here, former computer sys IT team member and a computer passioneer. Today I will be talking to you about the importance of considering in-house IT support over outsourcing. We'll be talking and discussing the benefits and the disadvantages, the cost and the expenses, my own personal experiences, a few professional examples, and a few other variables that you'll want to consider. Let's get started. So first, let's consider in-house versus outsourced benefits. In-house has a lot of opportunity for unique and flexible platforms in which you can build for specific directions of your IT department. So basically you have more control over exactly what you want to focus on and what you would rather not focus on for your IT department to develop on. Outsource, research and individual design. This is already included usually in the contract that you would have with your outsourced company. They would provide normally a considerable amount of information based on what your intentions are with their company in the contract. In-house, you have on-site hardware. Now this is a benefit because having on-site hardware gives you a lot of control to be able to purchase the products at what is flexible for your payroll. Outhouse has uniformed hardware. In essence, it gives you an umbrella over the hardware that they get for you with guarantees and warranties. In-house and staying in-house with your IT also gives you more business and customer approval. Nowadays, people see this as a strength in a business. It says to your customers and your other business partnerships that you believe in your company and you believe in yourself and your capabilities. Outsourcing also gives you the security and insurance of knowing that if you go with a reputable company that has helped out other companies, that they will be able to trust that your IT department will be well taken care of. But let's move on to outsource versus in-house disadvantages. As I said earlier, you do have research and individual design and outsource. However, it's not fully designed for your production. This usually isn't designed specifically for your needs. So you'll have to shop around every once in a while to make sure that whatever you get from an outsourced company will cover very comprehensively what your direction you're wanting to head in. With that being said, in-house, you do have the uniqueness and flexibility platform. However, it's not so cost effective. In order to stay competitive in these markets nowadays, you have to really consider where you want to put your money. And having unique and flexible platforms can be beneficial, but you have to make sure that it's still going to keep the cost under the profit. With outsource, the uniform hardware is good. However, it's not always supported by the company. Sometimes they'll give you hardware from external sources, such as hard drives or servers, that are warranted by separate companies, which means you won't have exactly the same type of coverage as you would with something that they would guarantee or warranty. You would have to go through the other company. With on-site hardware, again, you run into a cost issue. Time is money, and it would take time to research the product that you needed, to install the product, as well as having the team to hire in order to monitor the product. All of this would take a considerable amount of time, and which means you would lose money. The security and insurance, you have to consider that this is its own entity that you're outsourcing to. They have their own interest. A lot of times, they still are invested in you. However, they're going to make sure that they make their money where it's necessary and put it where it's necessary. And sometimes your company can end up on the bottom of that list. Business and customer approval, yes, while it's a great thing, again, we run into it is not cost effective sometimes. You have to be able to say to yourself, is it worth saving face if I can save a few bucks? Now, with all this being said, don't be discouraged to go to in-house, because in my own personal experience, it really comes down to just being cost effective. Considering all aspects of what you're going to invest in. Everything from your hardware, to the installation, to the team it takes to install it, to the diagnostic tools. You have to consider all aspects of what your IT department will need in order for you to succeed. All you really ever need to do that is sometimes just ask yourself, what are they doing? What are the top companies today doing, and what have they done in the past in order to become the leaders that they are? There's so many of them out there. We can look at Google, we can look at Intel, we can look at a million other different companies and realize that they all had kind of the same strategies in order to get where they are. Basically, being extremely cost effective and aware of what their goals are. So with this being said, if you look at the other companies, you'll see this mapped out individual perspective that they've all used in order to get where they are. Everyone is an individual entity doing something a little bit different and adding to everything that everybody else is considering. Kind of fishing in the same pond, but with different lures. So, number one of all things that you want to consider when looking at IT in-house or outsource is do not be afraid to fail. Do not be afraid to put your money where your mouth is. You have to be able to take a few risks in order to benefit from it. So the final words that I have for you today is just an outline of the way that I've seen other businesses succeed, and if you look at other business strategies, they seem to work. You have to weigh your options. You have to go out and search, shop effective. You have to go out there and see exactly what it is that you want and see how and what best route should you take. You have to know your intentions. You have to be very comprehensive and say to yourself, what is it that I want to do from now into the future, and how am I going to get there? And every step of the way has to be very coherent. You have to consider the full investment. You have to weigh out, is what I'm investing going to pay out in the end? Is what I'm putting in, my time, my money, my effort, worth what I'm getting out of it? And if it's not, you have to not be afraid of saying, okay, let's look at other avenues. You have to expect the unexpected. We have insurance out there nowadays for a lot of reasons. Sometimes it feels like extortion, but in a lot of ways it saves our butts. We have to make sure that whatever we are looking at, we have to expect the unexpected. So with all this being said, all you really have to do is follow through. Make a business plan, a business strategy, and follow through. And if it comes to IT at any point, it's really just looking at your company and finding out what its individual needs are, short-term and long-term. Most companies start out with in-house and work their way to outsourcing, but they actually build the companies. Look at Google, they built their own outsourcing companies that companies can use themselves outside of them. So they are the outsourced entity, if you will. So all you have to do is follow through with your plans, and you'll be at one decision or the other when you come to it. But make sure that you're not afraid to fail, and you're not afraid to follow through. Today I'm going to leave you with a simple quote. Ambition is the path to success, but persistence is the vehicle you arrive in. This is a quote that a lot of business models are built upon. Don't be afraid to use it. Thank you, and have a nice day.